Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Max Booty. This is going to be merely one story because to properly put Max Booty's importance in the context of the TWF is going to require a lot more than me just talking for 5 minutes, because Max Booty really was the heart of the TWF for many years, and so I just like to kind of give a story to kind of illustrate the kind of man Max Booty was. So Max Booty had a match. I should really go rewatch this before I tell the story probably, but he had a match against, I want to say, Zombie. Is it Zombie? No. Zombie. No. I just saw this recently. It was actually Jamaican B he wrestled. And something was wrong with Max. Because Max had lost the week before to someone, and I don't remember who. And then that next week against Jamaican B he lost. Which that in itself is it's insane, because Max Booty was probably, he's up there with some of the greatest champions in TWF history. So for him to be losing to Jamaican B, it's like, man, what happened? Well, in the middle, somewhere in the match, he had something thrown in his eye, and so then it was so bad that they, the TWF doctor, L. Forrest Hagenbush, the third, who did all of our examinations, who actually did a number of surgeries at the studios themselves. He'd take them into the bathroom. He did a couple ACLs, like in the bathtub, in the bathroom that we had at the studios, and they didn't last long. The ACLs only held up for a few weeks, but that was enough for a lot of those guys. So they just keep getting the ACL surgeries. We could only do it for a little while before the scar tissue would build up so much, and then you couldn't bend your leg. Unfortunately for some of the wrestlers, they didn't figure that out, so they couldn't bend their leg anymore. But luckily the later wrestlers found that out. But anyway, so Dr. L took a look at Max's eye and said, "Dude, we're gonna have to take it out. There's no saving this eye. It's gone. You're gonna have to remove it." And Max, being the kind of guy that he is, said, "No way. I'm not." First of all, he just felt. He liked being able to see, which everyone does. So but he really, for some reason, was really. Even though everyone said, "Hey, you'll be able to see still," it was like, for him as an athlete, I guess, right? Yeah, that makes sense. As an athlete, his peripheral vision and all that stuff, he felt like it would diminish him as a competitor. And the other thing too is, it's cliche, but this guy was like, "I don't give up like that. Just because you're saying that it's not going to work doesn't mean that I can't find another way." So what ended up happening is believe it or not, is that Max, through his connection with these Silicon Valley robotics types, and I don't remember the names of the companies he worked with, but he went down there in person and pitched these ideas, saying, "Hey, he says, I don't know the technical aspects, but having done, he did a ton of research still. But he didn't know the technical aspects in robotics as well as he did the physical workings of the eye, which he had a very good understanding of very quickly. But the robotics part confused him. But there was something that he had read in the literature on robotics that made him feel like, hey, you know what? I do feel like, hey, maybe there is a connection here. Maybe there is a way to make a robotic eye." So like I said, he contacted some robotics firm in Silicon Valley and just pitched him his idea, not as like, "Hey, I want to make money off this," but more like, "Hey, I'd really like to do something good for the rest of the world, besides just, help me, but, I'm willing to take the risk to see if we can create something that can help people that can't see." And within it was amazing. It was unbelievable. within 3 weeks, what ended up happening was the robotics, a few of the robotics firms, although the companies never officially signed on at first, a few of the engineers from each of the few firms were so intrigued that they ended up contacting Max Booty after the meetings, and then the engineers from all these different places ended up working out of this guy's house in Palo Alto, and so from that guy's house, they developed a working robotic eye, and I mean, it was merely a prototype, but Max was like, he was convinced that it worked, and once he's convinced, he's gonna do it. So he took the robotic eye back to Tracy, and he had Dr. L surgically implant it, and he wrestled that same week, and he won. And what's even more amazing is that, and Max would say that to this day, is that, you know, yeah, he won, he came back, but see, Max was also focused on creating something to help the world, and this did that, because now, I mean, you see it everywhere. You know, blind people have these, you know, robotic eyes with the microchips and shit, you know, like all, you know, that's all because of Max Booty. Max Booty helped the blind to see. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty remarkable thing, you know. I mean, it's not, you know, building the Eiffel Tower, or, you know, I don't know, some of these other technological marvels, like the doorbell or something like that. But I mean, you know, curing blindness is pretty impressive. And he came from TWF. This happened while he was in TWF. So in a way, TWF helped cure blindness. So you may consider that the next time, you know, a relative has robotic eye surgery. So that's the story. That's one story, Max Booty. Like I said, I'll have many more, and some of these wrestlers, I plan on doing a much more comprehensive retrospective because they deserve it. So, and Max is one of them. So, look out for that in the future.